Drone. I got a new drone, you guys. New drone. New one.
The song set on my soul some time ago. I fought by your side. I taught you how to drive. I was with you when you got high. I remember there was a moment right before I knew to actually know a person who would do what you do. The sun set on my soul some time ago. The sun set on me a long time ago. But you made me want to be young again. Stay by that again. The sun set on my soul some time ago. I fought by your side. I taught you how to drive. I was with you when you got high. I remember there was a moment right before I knew the accident or a person would do what you do. The sun set on my soul some time ago.
If it's the temperature or the lack of people out here, like propellers going in the water and motion and waves, but the water is crystal clear. I mean, I've never seen the bottom here, and I'm looking directly at it. Like, look at, there's leaves down there that are on the bottom of the water, and I can just see them. And then there's a tree right over here that I've never seen, but you knew it was there because you'd always go gunk gunk if you were right there. Yeah, and the water level is even lower than every entrance to the beaver holes over here. When really it should be above them, even for winter. I mean, this is low for winter. Look at River's way over there chasing birds. Yeah, we're gonna go for a little boat ride. Yeah, he's crazy. So I'm gonna get him to go bark in the boat. Here's where we're at. It is 19 degrees and the diesel heater is kaput. It stopped working. So I went over to propane. I have a way to fill the little bottles, and I have a 20-gallon large propane bottle. So I put the buddy heater here. I got it on low. And then up here I have a fan that I turn on once this gets all warm. Yes, I know the door is open. That's because my animals don't care about the temperature, evidently. They just want to come and go all day. So we'll let them do what they want to do. But this is what I'm doing to heat it. And I have never really cranked the diesel heater. And then this morning I turned it all the way up. Well, halfway up. And it died. And then when I went to go check to see what could be wrong with it, I noticed that the fuel filter was clogged. Tried to clean that, put it back together, and it kept leaking, probably because the washer is frozen. Warmed up the washer, tried to get it to go back together. Everything, the lines in the diesel fuel are, everything's frozen. So they don't want to spin, they don't want to come on and off, but essentially I can't get it working and I can't get the fuel pump to click anymore. So we went to propane. I went online to try to order a new fuel line and new fuel filter and a fuel pump, and that was like $45, and I realized a brand new one altogether is less than 100. So I just ordered that. So we're gonna go I'm gonna get this boat in the sun. We need a little bit of sun. It's only gonna be 31 degrees it's gonna be freezing, so we're gonna have to deal with that. But again, we talked about this a couple of times. I have 3 ways to heat it. Worst case scenario, if I want to close everything up, I can run the generator and turn on an electric space heater. So even if I want to go to bed, I don't have to fall asleep with this propane heater working or anything like that. So I have options. But I'm learning that diesel heater is an important and vital thing. And I almost think I'm going to maybe even order 2 or fix the original one and keep the second one. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. But we gotta go into the sun. So we just backed up 200 feet, but now we're in full sun. And when it's 19 degrees out, you need to be in the sun. And I left my anchor here because I knew I was coming back. And now, because it's 19 degrees, my anchor is frozen solid into the ground. So I think it's an important thing to talk about when you're in this kind of cold weather, about what these motors can and can't do. When you get below 5 degrees, the motor doesn't want to run. The water doesn't run through it. It gets cold and freezes on it, and it doesn't want to run. That motor at 5 degrees, I can run it across the river and drive it just fine, perfect, no problem. Around 20 degrees, all the controls for this motor start to freeze, where when I was backing away from this spot, I couldn't turn the steering wheel and I couldn't shift out of neutral to drive and reverse because the lines were frozen on the boat. I had to actually like shake them back and forth to get them to break loose. So you start to have trouble around 20 degrees, and once it gets below 5 degrees, you're not ever supposed to even start to run them. So eventually what will happen, if it's colder than 5 degrees, the river doesn't freeze, is we're going to be rowing. We'll row that one to go get supplies if we have to. Just row it across the river. 15 degrees out. Look at these two. He's running around with this frisbee and she just went out there. Look at, they don't care. They don't care. So I'm not really one to do drama. And so when I have something that happens to me that's dramatic or annoying or what have you, I pretty much just tell you right away. I made it through. Nothing's happened wrong here, but I had some frustrations over the last couple of days. Number one, we dropped down to be 19 degrees and below 20 degrees at night, and then during the day it didn't get above 35 for about 3 days. And in the middle of that, my diesel heater called it kaput. Long story short, I went online to order the parts, and I realized nowadays the new ones are $100, and they have everything included where you don't have to put anything together. It's all in one box. So I went and ordered one of those, and I got a spiffy one with a remote control, so I spent $130 or $140. And when we get it, I'll show it. I'll do a video of us installing it and using it, and I'll make a comparison between the old one, and we'll see if I have to buy the old one and hook that up. But long story short, I ordered a bunch of parts to bring the fireplace inside, and to basically, I've been using the buddy heater and it gives me a headache. Like right when it turns on, having the propane in the house gives me a headache instantly. So I don't like it, but I know other people get that same feeling from it. So we'll see. They always tie off to the buoy right here. It's so cool. I mean, it looks like he's got a fish on the line. Yep. Ooh, I got that on camera, you guys. Good job. You stay warm. That's a good looking fish. Alright, so when I left, I gassed up the generator and put the electric space heater on. To me, that's the safest one. I don't want to leave any kind of flame going on in the boat with the propane heater. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. When I have to leave the boat, I just turn on the electric heater. Right now it's 43 degrees, so in the boat it would be 60 degrees with the sun shining on it anyways. But that space heater has a little thermostat that will turn on and off if it's not needed, and I would rather it turn on to keep them warm if they need it, you know. But I gotta tell you, I didn't realize how thankful I am about having that diesel heater for the last 3.5 years. As soon as it didn't work, things get to be annoying, and yeah. Here's the beaver we've been watching for the last couple of days. He's got to be happy. The air is warm. So it rained last night, and it was only 32 degrees last night, and now today it's going to be 52. And tonight will be only 50 degrees, so big change in the weather. He just brings sticks over to his pile right here and adds to his pile all day. And River just watches him. Yeah. And then the water level's gone up, so one of his, that hole's almost back underwater. The big one's not, though. The photographs that you've been seeing over the last couple of episodes are sponsored by Bwine. They do drones. The drone that I have been using is their F7 Mini SE. So it has its own camera built in. It takes 4K pictures, as you can see. It also does high resolution video. And it's easy to control. It has a bunch of flight modes I'm going to show you. But essentially, I'm going to show you something real quick that will make drone flying make sense to those of you who don't know how to fly a drone, because I know it was confusing to me. Because I drove RC cars growing up, and this was forward, backward, and this was left and right. Now, the way these work is this is left, right, forward, backward. This is rotate left, rotate right, up, down. That's how you fly them. Yeah. And then I haven't seen any drones that work any different than that. So this one has a, like all of them, they connect to your phone. And one of the ways that you can get confused when you're flying the drone is if it's pointing the opposite direction, if it's looking at you, now when you do the stick left, it's going to fly right because it's not pointing the same direction as you. So a lot of the confusion when flying a drone is that people are not looking at their phone. So essentially, you don't want to look at the actual drone when you're flying it. You want to look at what the drone is picturing. So when you have your phone connected to the controller, look at the camera on the drone. That way you can figure out whether it has to go left or right and this kind of thing. And pretty much view it as a VR game. A lot of frustration can come from when you're boondocking or when you're doing this type of lifestyle, whether you're on an RV with a trailer or with a big houseboat that you don't know is going to fit. Going down a trail ahead of time, either with a drone or with a mountain bike or with a kayak, to figure out the depth of the water or to figure out if you can turn around, to me is a better process than trying to use Google Earth. You don't know when those videos were taken. You don't know what's happened between now and then, if a tree fell down or something like that. So sending a drone is a quick, effective way to get rid of a lot of stress about, well, can I turn around in 300 feet? Throw a drone 500 feet in the air, look at the trail and see if you can turn around. You know, this thing is, it can fly for 28 minutes. It is $200 around approximately, depending on where you get it. And 4K resolution on 2.7K video is excellent. So you can sit here and actually you can transmit video from live from the drone to your phone from 9,800 feet away. I mean, think about that. Come on. So yeah, for $200, just adding that to your arsenal of how to boondock or how to get places, not to mention the photographs. You know, that kind of camera at that height looking down at you, it's almost worth it just for the camera, to take photographs for yourself. So yeah. That's a dog that knows how to come to his whistle. But he's gonna go right. Oh, almost took me out, dude. You're dangerous, brother. You gotta watch that flyby. Oh, he's in a good mood. So it's warm. 50 degrees. It rained all yesterday for a long, long time. This was all dry. Now it's all wet again. Yeah. Cycle of nature, I suppose. This was completely dry, now it's all wet again. Yeah. So. Yeah. I don't even know what to say about that though. Ooh. Got something going on here. What's that about? A guy just ran aground. Look at that. Guess that's how you do that, eh? There's plenty of room to get around though, which is what we will go do. Now, these barges run up and down this river 24 hours a day, every day of the year, non-stop. Their crew gets dropped off every 14 days at different marinas, and that's what's happening here. That's a crew change. 5 people got on the boat, got into a pickup truck and drove home. 5 people got out of the pickup truck and came back to the boat to run the boat. And that's how they do it here. So a month ago, I could drive through there, and that was a river. And now it is completely dry. And I'm sure on Saturday when it was 19 degrees and it was cold, you could just walk across it even with no boots on. It wouldn't even be muddy, it would just be frozen. And you could just walk on it like solid ground. And it comes all the way out into the middle of the bay right here. Yeah. So now you can truly see, and yeah, this is the first place I stayed last spring where the snakes came up and were not hibernating anymore, and they just all came right there and started breeding and everything. And now look at it, it's all land. It's all land. What a difference April versus November and December makes. What a difference. Yeah, and this is no longer a creek. It used to be Roberts Creek, but now it's just mud and muck. No water at all. I'm coming back in here to see if there's a place to kind of tuck away from everyone's view in here. I'd like to have sun, but we'll see. I mean, it's not, the forecast right now is rain, so yeah, like right behind this beach right here would be kind of cool. We'll see. Look at the pelicans. They're here for a reason. I'm going to show you why. This is a hatchery. There's a reason why this is a nature reserve and a bird migratory path from the Great Lakes down to the Gulf. There's a reason why this is here. It was very well put together. I'm gonna show you. Look at the water. Teeming with life. Thousands and thousands of fish. Little baby fish everywhere. They're just everywhere. They're trying anytime the sun hits the water, they're just trying to warm up. And they're staying in the sun spots, but they're everywhere, man. So I thought to myself, if there was water in the fuel and it got into the pump and froze, that maybe this might work. So I just turned it on. I lifted see how the fuel filter's sitting right there, and there's some diesel in it. The pump has started clicking, which wasn't happening before, and now it's smoking, and guess what? This darn thing is going to kick on. So now I just have to figure out how to stop the leaks. Which, I mean, that won't be hard now that it's 50 degrees out and I can move the rope back, the fuel lines around. Maybe even use a lighter to heat them up. This is not happening. It's starting right up. Look at this. Well, then the diesel heater that I ordered will be back up. I'll figure this one out too. Okay, so to me, this has always been the logic to me. When something isn't working and it's freezing cold out, and then all of a sudden it starts to work when it's 60 degrees out, there's water where there shouldn't be water. And it could be like in the electronics, where all of a sudden now that the water froze, it expands, and now the two pieces of metal that are normally touching are now just a little bit apart, and there's a short. And then the water melts and the plastic brings it back together all of a sudden. Or it could have just been in the fuel pump, not letting the pump go back and forth because it froze. I don't know. I'm going to just let this idle, and we're going to think about how to make that fuel filter not leak. Probably heat up the washer or see if I have a second washer. Alright, so for the purposes of hooking this back up, I disconnected it from the tank. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I needed to empty the tank when it was leaking, so I just disconnected everything and then dumped it back into the containers. I just flipped this around, and I think that because of the way it looks, it's going to work. It'll seal. So I'm going to essentially fill up the ball here that I just showed you down there with fuel. I'm going to put this cap on it and turn it sideways and see if it leaks. Well, I'm going to try to. Okay, so I just put diesel in the bowl with the tank right here. Then I screwed this on. And I'm still getting a leak. Yeah, that's diesel. That's the problem right there. Oh. Alright, so I basically just had a fuck it moment and said I'm just going to crank on this as hard as I can. And it turned another almost 2 complete revolutions. So it was not closed all the way. Alright, so next step is to figure out if I can rehook this back up to the fuel tank. Yeah, I might have to get the dinghy.
The sun set on my soul some time ago. The sun set on me a long time ago. She made me want to be young again. Stay up all night again. Talking till the sun came around again.
Okay, so at this point, Everything's set back up the way it was originally. I haven't really done anything other than to clean the fuel filter, which makes sense because I turned it up and it choked itself out, right? I mean, that's what I think about it. Hold on, Cricket. Wait till I start this. So, let's turn it on again. So at this point, I know that I have to change my fuel filter more often. I need to look at it more often. And then I need to get something to clear water out of a diesel system. And I feel like this whole thing might work again. So the water, it takes about 3 days for the rain to all come into the river system from the land that's around here. So the first day you get a little bit of a jump because we got water, but then the next 2 days, here we go, and I hear it pumping. Oh shit, we might have heat back. Long story short, the water over today has gone up another 8 inches, and you can no longer see that beaver hole, and it's starting to cover the large one too. Alright, so this is how all diesel things start. Basically, the cylinder is not hot enough to burn all the fuel, so it ends up coming off as some kind of, you see smoke, but 5 minutes from now, you won't even see the smoke or smell it. But right now, that smells like diesel smoke. So, very cool. Probably should have tried to start it the next morning when the sun was out. Watch out. I don't know, whatever. It is what it is. I burn, probably 4 little propane tanks of fuel in the meantime. And I definitely ran, 3 gallons of fuel in the generator. So, I mean, there was a cost to this, that's for sure. But I'm gonna sit and have a nice cold beer with my dog and my cat on the shore while this thing powers up. Alright, well, I wanted to thank my sponsor again. You guys saw how beautiful. I'm gonna show you some more video. River attacks drones. So I don't know how long we'll have this drone, and if I lose the drone, it'll be because of River. I'll show you in a second how brutal he is with it. And then I'll give you an update over the next week or so if this diesel heater is working. Either way, I like to have a second one. I can put it in the back of the houseboat. Have heat coming from both sides. Yeah. Alright, I'm cool. I'm excited, but I'm also like, could it have just been clogged fuel? I don't know. Alright, so I've bought drones for $50, and I bought drones for, I think my most expensive drone was $700, and River killed 2 of the 3. The third one he chewed up pretty good. I mean, pretty good, and I eventually lost that one in the water. I have dropped drones upside down in the water and seen their lights swam down and pulled on them and pulled them out of the water, and they actually work. Not saying that you should do that, but I have. And yeah, so I want you to see how River is with these drones. How bad he is with it. It's horrible. One thing I wanted to show you about this drone is the remote control has an actual hard line to the phone. So basically it's easier to connect to the software, a lot easier to connect to the software.
Yes mode.
Get back. Come here. Come here. With me. Come here right now. He's insane.
Gotta be wide, wide open. Got a 45 on him, man. He pushed me about 102. Always smoking something, he ain't worried about nothing, cause he ain't got nothing to lose. I got a thing for the hard liquor on ice, short days on nights, marbles out the window, more fingers to the sky. Say you wanna get dangerous, now you're speaking my language. I forgot what your name is, so I'ma call you mine. Wide open, got 45 on him, man. He pushing about 102. Always smoking something, he ain't worried about nothing, cause he ain't got nothing to lose. I got a thing for the wild ones. I got a thing for the wild ones. Stocky blue. I got a thing for the wild ones. I got a thing for the wild ones. They like me too. Attracted to things that are really crazy. Asking me how I've been feeling lately. Coming from mine that it's do or die. Won't let it slide, no stealing bases. No back and forth bargaining. No bitching and arguing. A whole lot of problems living in Gotham and buddies my Harley Quinn.